Today we're making 3 easy meals for when it's too hot to cook. The best part, these meals are great for lunch and dinner. Recipe number 1 is going to be a deli-style shrimp salad. Now, I already made a New York deli shrimp salad a couple of years ago video, and we poached the shrimp ourselves with a seasoning. We're not doing that today, so this is going to be quicker. All I did was purchase 1.5 pounds of U40 pre-cooked shrimp. They've already been deveined and the tails are removed, so they're good to go. They come frozen. I just thawed them overnight, and we're set to make this. For the sauce component, I have 1 teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning. I'm using a little bit more if you see the print recipe, simply because when we cooked them, we added Old Bay initially. I have 1 teaspoon of celery seed. I have the juice of 1 lemon. I have a 1/2 cup of finely diced red onion. I have 3/4 cup of finely diced celery. That's about 2 celery ribs. We're going to put a little bit of dill in there. We probably don't need that much. And then I have 3/4 cup of extra heavy mayo, deli style mayo, but you can use regular mayonnaise too. Okay, one ingredient I forgot to tell you is 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard that I just got the remaining bit out of the jar I had in my fridge, so I gotta get some more Dijon. Okay, that's at 3/4 cup of extra heavy mayo. So the extra heavy mayo, I'll link it if you want. If you've been watching some of my other deli recipes, it's a component that's used in all these deli salads. It just allows the salads to be a little bit less watery, I would say. But it's not a big deal if you use regular mayo. That's the 3/4 cup of diced celery, 1/2 cup of diced red onion. I probably could have diced that up a little bit finer. Juice of a lemon, and then 1 teaspoon Old Bay and 1 teaspoon of celery seed. All right, I'm gonna put in about 1 tablespoon of the dill to start. Okay, that's our sauce. Just gonna drain these shrimp because they were thawing and just add the shrimp in. So all I'm gonna do is make sure that everything is kind of hitting the bottom here. And then I want to put this in the refrigerator for at least a couple hours to really get those flavors to meld, but overnight is even better. The next day, if you do it overnight, and you can eat this during the week, that's what's great. This is for lunch, for dinner, whatever, just double the recipe, you can make sandwiches. But the next day, if it gets a little watery, you can drain a little bit of that water out, and then you can add mix a little bit more extra heavy mayo in there. All I'm gonna do right now is do an initial taste. Perfect. It doesn't need anything. There's a nice tanginess from the lemon juice and the Dijon.
I can't believe how quick that was.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny, so when we did the original one, I showed how it's normally done, how you cook the shrimp with the seasoning. I gotta say, this does not taste any different. This tastes great already like this, but it's gonna get even better being in the fridge.
I think that's good to know too, because one of the questions that we get asked on our website is, can I use pre-cooked shrimp?
Yep.
And the answer is always yes.
The answer is yes. I would just get Gulf shrimp, pre-cooked Gulf shrimp. I don't like buying the overseas shrimp anymore. I don't like buying a lot of the Asian shrimp. I don't like how they're processed. I know that a lot of the Gulf ones, and I think Whole Foods and a few other retailers have certain standards that certain ingredients or whatever they use for the shrimp to preserve them are not allowed in it. So I would just look at the bag for that. Okay, for the next recipe, we are making pesto Genovese. Now, you do have to cook your pasta, but the great thing about pesto is if you make a ton of it, you can save your pesto so you can have it whenever you want, when you want a quick pasta, or you can turn this into a cold pasta salad the next day, which is really the way I prefer to have pesto. I prefer it that way. I like to put sometimes a bowl of burrata on top of it, break that, mix it in nice and creamy, or add a grilled chicken breast that I cut up into pieces to actually have a full meal with protein in it. And you could buy even though, pre-cooked grilled chicken in the store too, to make it very simple. So you need a lot of basil. I took a lot of it off the stems right here, and I have more. I'll show you how to do it in a second, where you don't want really any of the thick stems, but little stems are okay. And we're gonna need about 4 packed cups of basil. In addition to that, we're going to have a 1/2 cup of pine nuts in our pesto, and we're gonna do a 1/2 cup of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese and a 1/2 cup of Pecorino Romano. Now, if you want to really be authentic with pesto, and I have to look because I never buy this type of cheese, you would have to buy Pecorino Fiore Sardo, okay? Now, you're most likely not going to be able to find that in the store, and it's going to cost a lot more. You're going to be fine using a 1/2 cup of both of these cheeses, and if you don't want to use Pecorino, you can use all Parmesan cheese if you want to. I think I'll go down to 1 clove of garlic instead of 2, and then we'll decide in a second what type of pasta we're going to make. All right, so I want 4 packed cups. I just have a thing here, so I'll just put them all in. So I'm making this video in beginning of June, and so my basil is just starting to grow right now. So this is all from the store. Obviously, if you can grow it yourself, it will be much better. Okay, so what I mean here is when you have the basil like this, we don't want any of the stem area here. We just want the leaves. We want the tender leaves for it and not the thick stems.
What about like the little stems at the top, like where it's like a cluster of leaves? Can you use those?
Yeah, you can use them. And a lot of, depending on what variety of basil people buy, there's about 100 different varieties now that are sold in your garden supply store, your home center. They'll all have a different characteristic. So you want to use the softer Italian basil. You really, if you want to be traditional, you would get the one Liguria, and that would be, I think that basil, the characteristic is it's very small leaves, but super tender. But you'll see in this home stores, there'll be a lot of Italian basil, and some of them will be like a giant one will have giant basil leaves, and then some will be smaller. The giant basil leaves are easier because you don't have to pull as much. Other basil like emerald is fine to use, but that one is more hardy. It's tougher. It's definitely not the best. A lot of people grow that one a lot because it's very resistant to downy mildew and bugs. So it's like a lot of times when you grow other type of basil, I know I'm talking probably too much gardening for you, but when you grow other types of basil, sometimes it'll just, it gets that mildew, it's done. And then what it'll do is it'll infect all the other plants as well. So I grow a variety of basil every year. All right, so I think that's about 4 packed cups, maybe a little bit more. You know what, we'll add more in if we need it. Okay, there's 3 types of ways you can make your pesto. You can use a food processor, which is the easiest way by far, and it's the way I normally do it. You can use a mortar and pestle if you like. Might not have the best results unless you are fairly strong. Or you can do a hand-chopped basil, pesto, which I would strongly recommend you don't do unless you are very skilled with a knife and have a super sharp knife, because what'll happen is when you try to chop it very fine, you're going to bruise it and you're going to turn it all black.
I would argue with you on the mortar and pestle route.
What would you say?
So first of all, the word pesto comes from the Italian verb pestare. And I will tell you a story. So I took Italian in college, and I think we were learning how to conjugate that particular verb. My professor, who was from Rome, he was horrified when he had learned that his students had never eaten pesto or didn't know what pesto was. So he immediately invited us all to his home, like the following week. And we all went to his house. He lived like right near the university, Stony Brook. And he made us pesto using a mortar and pestle.
Yes.
And it was the first time I had ever had a proper pesto. Like the only pestos I had prior to that were ones that came from a jar and were like black. This is the most outrageously delicious pesto I had ever had. And he made it in a mortar and pestle. Okay.
Well, guess what? Not happening here today. I'm trying to stick to the theme of very easy.
I know.
Now, actually, I'll tell you, because I know this story. The man that she's talking about is the father of a YouTube cook.
So his name is...
What's her name? What's her name?
Her name is Emma Fontanella. His name was Luigi Fontanella. And he was an Italian poet and just like an amazing professor.
What is her channel's name? Is it Emmy Made or...
No, it's...
I'm grinding these with the food processor. So I'm not toasting the garlic either.
Emma's Goodies.
Emma's Goodies. Okay, Emma's Goodies. I'm not toasting the pine nuts. You can do that if you want, but again, I'm making this easy today. Got to make sure the garlic is completely chopped. Can I open it? Yes. I don't use this a lot, rarely ever. This is giving us some coarseness. I mean, it's more important when you're in a mortar and pestle to have this coarseness, but you don't have to use pine nuts either. You can use walnuts. You can use any nuts you like.
Can you use no nuts?
You can use no nuts if you say you have a nut allergy. All right, I'm putting all that basil in. And then I want to put in about 3/4 cup of olive oil. So a lot of olive oil. This is extra virgin olive oil. All right, let's start with a little less than 3/4 cup. But probably need it all. I'm just pulsing. Let's take a look. Okay, it's about there. I would say, Tara, you want it a little bit more than that.
I actually think
you
it's great like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind it like that. And I like to put a lot of whole leaves in at the end too. That choice is yours as well. Final thing is you can just add the cheese and pulse it, or you can take this out of here and then you can just swirl the cheese in. The idea is not to like put a ton of heat on the cheese. And I might need more oil now because the cheese is going to thicken it a lot. All right, so there it is. And we'll just use more oil to thin if we need to. I don't know if I quite have enough here for a pound. See, that's why I don't know if that was really 4 packed cups.
No, you definitely do.
You think so?
You only need a tiny bit.
No, you need a lot. That's why buying those jars in the store is not, it's not worth it. People buy a little jar and they're like, it's not even enough for a pound of pasta. I'm going to add a little bit more leaves here. Better to have more than we need. All right, so bring a pot of water to boil, salted water, and then I'll show you how much we have here. That's how much we got.
That's plenty.
So this is pretty much the only thing I use basil for during the year, besides like garnishing on dishes. I don't save my basil, no matter how much I grow. I don't freeze it. It just doesn't taste good, really. I definitely don't dry it because I don't like dried basil. I think it's not a good use of basil. But I make a lot of pesto and then I freeze it. That's what you should do. All right, so let's talk about the pasta. So both of these I think are really good. Okay, that's fusilli, corti, bucati, and then this is gemelli. These are both really nice. They, I like the grooves in them, so the pesto kind of holds in there. But regular penne, or even bow tie, which, you know, my son doesn't like bow ties, that would be good. Spaghetti, linguine, fettuccine, whatever you want. I mean, really. But this is my favorite. This is a long fusilli. It's awesome. It's super long. It's actually like 18 inches. These things wrap around twice. So, I'll show you. See, they're like double length. So, you know, if you boiled the whole thing, it would be super long. So what you can do is you can break them in half if you want, or you could just do the long way. I just love this one. All right, we're gonna cook this right to al dente, how you like it, and then we're just gonna toss it. Save a little bit of that pasta water. You might need it just a touch, and we're just gonna toss it. All right, we're just gonna taste the pesto. Make sure it has enough salt in it. Now we're just relying on the salt from the cheese. Touch of salt?
No.
And I think it's the right amount, 1 clove of garlic.
Yes.
Yeah. When you put raw garlic in anything, you gotta really be careful. One other thing, again, I'm probably, the way I made it is probably the way that purists, like Tara said, would not be happy with. A lot of restaurants, if you ever get it, especially if you get it at a fancy restaurant, it'll be greener. There's a couple different ways to do that. Sometimes they'll blanch it. It's all about trying to stop the oxidation process. But really, and I saw it was, I forget the guy's name. He's like a 2-star Michelin chef. So really fancy restaurant, like a $800 per person restaurant. For their pesto, they had basil oil. So what they had these oils made of basil that were super green. And then when they would mix their pesto in with the pasta, they would add this oil in, and it would turn it like that's like really green and almost looked like food coloring. And I definitely think that's the most interesting way to do it, and probably the easiest way to do it, because I think they just make these oils and they just have them, ready to go. This is not that type of channel, okay? We're about being practical and getting things done as fast and delicious as possible at the same time. All right, so here is our pasta. Tara thinks I made too much pesto, so I'll start with half of this. Put it in there.
I didn't say you made too much. I said you made like more than enough, meaning you'll have some left over that you could freeze.
So I just saved 2 cups of the pasta water. You're not going to need all that. I'm just going to put in about 2 tablespoons to start, and we'll just add more as needed. But you can see how much I put in, and I would say you definitely need more than that. Now, that might be enough for you, Tara, but
yeah,
I think you need more in there.
Yeah, for me that is enough.
It's enough.
But no, I get it. Everybody has different.
Yeah. That's why, like, when I made the recipe, and we test all our recipes multiple times before we make a video for it, I knew like you needed that 4 packed cups of basil. Really, the only pesto you can buy, like commercial pesto, that's worth buying, that will give you enough for a pound of pasta, or actually 2 pounds pasta, is the Costco version. It's a very large jar of it versus, you'll see a lot of ones in the store. It's a very small amount. That looks a lot better now, like that.
I think it depends on the pasta shape too. Like if you were using like a penne, you could probably use less sauce.
Yeah, maybe a little
like
bit
the
less.
surface areas.
Yeah. This one I like the most because I love it. I love it the next day. And when the next day, if it gets a little bit dry and stuck together, just use more olive oil, and you can even just save a little bit of the pasta water. Just add it right back in there, and then you'll be good to go. But we'll try this now hot. I love that pasta shape. I mean, it just makes it taste better with the pesto. I really don't even know what else I would use this pasta for. To me, it just really is pesto. All right, we're gonna let this one sit. Like, we'll just keep it at room temperature. It'll be good when it's at room temperature for the taste tester while I prepare the next one. One more thing before we move on to the next one. This is what I meant before. So grilled chicken, just like this from the store. You can get this in a lot of places now. And then this is just 2 balls of burrata. So the burrata is good when you just put it on cold and mix it right in, and it will make it a lot more creamy. So these are 2 ways to kind of like level this one up that involve no cooking also. All right, now to the next one. All right, we're making one of my favorite sandwiches. This is also one of my son's favorite sandwiches, and it's one of the simplest sandwiches you can make. So there's only 5 ingredients in this. There's one option you can do if you like, but normally I prefer it this way. So I have a nice roll. I like it a little bit on the soft side. It has a little bit of an outside texture, but I like it fairly soft to be able to bite through everything in here. But you can also use like a semolina with seeds. You know, it really just make this.
Ciabatta.
Ciabatta is
a little chewier.
If you get ciabatta that day, if you don't, it will be harder to chew through. But really use any bread you like. So we're making a nice sandwich with prosciutto di Parma. Now, this is from the deli. It's all sliced. Now, they didn't do the best job here. This is like a grab and go that I will get often. The reason I buy this one is it's way cheaper than buying, like I think they sell this for $22 a pound versus Cittario brand. Now, these are nice slices, the way they seal them, but these are $10 for a quarter pound. So it's $40 a pound for this. You get better slices there, or you go to the deli counter, and which I didn't feel like waiting for, and just tell them to slice it super thin. Got a bowl of fresh mozzarella. This was just made yesterday, lightly salted. You can get smoked mozzarella for it too, but I prefer to keep everything kind of not overpowering here because this is really the star of the show. And then we have really good extra virgin olive oil that I would use for this type of sandwich. All right, so this is kind of flat, this one, so just do the best you can to cut it down the middle, like so. Just want some slices of the fresh mozzarella. I know Tara's eyeing it right now.
Yes, I am. This is one of my favorite sandwiches too.
It's so simple, you know?
Yeah. And you can customize it. I like mine with arugula and a balsamic glaze.
Yeah, that's really good. You know, some basil leaves wouldn't be bad either, but yeah, I just prefer the simplest version that we're making. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I mentioned, but roasted red peppers. Okay, Tara's like, did you mention that ingredient?
Yeah.
These are awesome.
Yours are from a jar, but if you wanted to make
yeah, but this is all
can.
About easy stuff today. And these roasted red peppers, I got a 12-ounce jar for $2.50. So, you know, the expensive ingredient here is the prosciutto. All right, I'm just going to put on a little bit of olive oil to start. Just kind of like get it a little bit on that bread.
If you did want to make your own roasted red peppers, that is one of the recipes that's in our cookbook.
Yes. Oh, we have. Oh, I didn't know. You know, it's so funny. We have so many recipes in the cookbook. And what you were saying before, too, none of these recipes that we're making today are in the cookbook. But one that's similar, that is a cold one, would be panzanella salad. That one is in the cookbook. And I don't think we have a recipe for that on the site. So
we don't.
Yeah, that was one of the, like, there's about 15 recipes that are not anywhere but in the cookbook. Cookbook's here. Buy it if you want. We appreciate it. We thoroughly appreciate your support. Getting it sliced like this is not the best because what I want to do is I want to build up air gaps when I make a sandwich. I don't want to take a whole bunch of pieces and just lay them flat. So I just really want air. It's more enjoyable when you eat it that way. And I have about a little bit more than a third of a pound here. When you get these sandwiches in the store, like at a good Italian deli, you know, if you're in the city, you know, they're going to charge $25, $30 $35 for a sandwich because the ingredient they're using, the prosciutto, is expensive. It's expensive to them. And if you buy it yourself, you'll save some money for sure. What do you think, Tara?
I think my stomach is growling right now.
I mean, then this all could have been thinner. You know, definitely could have been thinner.
It looks great.
So you're going to get some sliding action from the cheese and the roasted red peppers, but it'll be all right.
I always, because this is a sandwich I've made countless times. James used to like to take it to school. I would always dry.
That's what I'm doing.
Exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm drying these roasted red peppers off really well.
The other thing I would do, because sometimes I would put the balsamic glaze on it for him, I would actually put it on top of the cheese because the cheese absorbs the glaze.
Yes.
Or put it on the bread.
Yeah, the bread is the best way, especially if your bread is hearty enough to saturate it. That's why a lot of times using the stronger bread, say you're making an Italian hero, that would have oil and vinegar, oregano, and you really want to saturate that bread and then you get the crusty edges. A lot of the times, like when I was working in delis when I was young, you would have a lot of Italian guys come in and, you know, make one for them. And even back then, they were asking to take the bread out. So the thick ones, because they wanted to be able to get more meat in it. They weren't doing it for a low carb or anything like that. I mean, that wasn't even a thing yet, you know. Now you have people going to bagel stores and they tell them to take the take it out. You don't know anybody like that, do you, Tom? Is that you?
That's me. But honestly, I actually don't like so much bread in a bagel.
Yeah.
It's sometimes a little too much. If I'm getting a bagel with like cream cheese, then leave it in. But if I'm getting like an egg sandwich, I do want it scooped out.
Well, we all have our preferences.
That looks so good.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
All right, so we're definitely going to wrap this one so everything will kind of stay in there. So yeah, Tara, like if you want the balsamic, do that. I'm just going to put a little bit more oil on it.
This is good like if you want to make a grab and go dinner. Like it's the summer, so let's say you want to go to the beach or the lake or wherever it is that you're going and you want to just make something quick and take it with you to eat there. This is a really great one.
Yeah, and this sandwich gets better over the next hour of it sitting. So that's another thing that's really good about it. The reason you do a wrap, it's going to hold everything inside more. So I didn't really load this one up, but you can load them up. I mean, there's people you see them on TikToks and Facebook stuff, they'll put in 1.5 pounds of meat in it, and the wrap is essential to hold everything together. There you go. All right, that looks nice. All right, and then I'll just take a piece of butcher paper because I don't have all the standard deli wrapping paper. So you got to buy 1,000 sheets from Webster store, which I don't need that much. All right, there you go. That is an awesome sandwich. Very easy sandwich to make. Very impressive sandwich. Make it for a loved one. Make it for yourself when you had a hard day. We're now going to see what the taste tester thinks of all three of these easy, cold dinner lunches. James, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Okay. School's almost over, so James had a test today.
I was actually usually no offense, usually I'm not excited to do these videos. They're always fun, but I was actually excited to do this because these are three of my favorite things.
Did you know we were making these in advance or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
You told me last night.
I did.
Yeah.
I can never
No,
remember.
I love pesto. I love shrimp salad, and I always make this. This is one of my favorite things. What did you put on this? I'm guessing.
Well, why don't you try it?
right.
I did my favorite version. I don't know if it's your favorite version.
Okay. Try the pesto.
You want cheese on that? There's a lot of cheese in it, but you want Parmesan cheese?
I'll see first how it is.
The idea of this video was to make everything cold. I know it's still a little bit room temperature, but I wanted to tell people they can, this is great the next day.
Cold, yeah. Awesome cheese on it.
Okay.
James, these are things that you can take if you want to bring a dinner or a lunch to the beach.
Yeah.
Pack all these.
Honestly, some chicken's good too.
Yeah, and I showed them.
Or pizza. Just leftover pizza. It's good cold. I think pizza is actually the best on room temperature when you just leave it out. It's just kind of sitting there. That's just me though.
I love it like that too.
Yeah. So good. And also, I know I shouldn't be saying this because I want you guys to make the recipe, obviously, but the Costco one is just as
I
good.
mentioned it already.
Really good,
Yeah.
actually. So if you don't have time, just make that. You just gotta boil some pasta and just toss it with it.
Yeah.
All right, shrimp salad now. Even though there's dill in this, I still love it. Even though I don't like dill that much.
Let's see.
So good.
James, for the shrimp salad, like it's really good plain like that.
Yeah.
But what are some ways that you could serve it?
Just want a sandwich, maybe.
Sandwich? Yeah, I think a sandwich. I also think like lettuce wraps
Yeah, those
are good with that.
I think
that is good, yeah.
The thing about shrimp salad though is that it's like not as good on like on other things as tuna salad is. Like a tuna melt is better than a shrimp salad sandwich.
I
in my
agree with
opinion. But still really good.
The one I haven't made yet for a recipe on the website or a video is the seafood salad. And that uses artificial, like the artificial seafood. That's like compressed. It's called flake. Maybe I'll make one of those.
So I'm pretty sure you just put prosciutto on this. I put like gabagool on it, and I scoop out the bread usually. So
You put what?
I put gabagool on it.
You mean capicola?
Capicola.
So maybe we should do my version of this sometime.
Well,
Do you put balsamic on it?
No, I didn't. I did the best extra virgin olive oil.
And it needs arugula.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm at a deficit
That's
right now.
how I make it.
And also, like the vinegar peppers are also really good.
Oh,
like,
that is
instead of
good.
these. Yeah.
I think all those things are great, but vinegar, cherry peppers are going to like kind of overpower it. I think you really
I'm not
want to
talking
taste
about
the
cherry.
prosciutto.
I'm not talking about cherry peppers. It's like something different I had like one time. I don't even remember.
Peppers?
No, the pepperoncini.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are good.
What, like Tuscan peppers, you mean?
Yeah.
No, not those.
No?
I don't know.
Vinegar peppers and cherry peppers are the same thing. Some people just call them vinegar peppers.
All right, well,
Yeah.
vinegar peppers, whatever. Gotta scoop out the bread next time.
Oh, come on. There's not much bread in that one. And it's nice and soft.
This bread's really good, actually. You can't get ciabatta from Uncle Giuseppe's. Way too hard to eat.
Too hard.
Yeah, this is good, though. I don't even know what it's called.
They're like flattened hero rolls.
Kind of reminds, it's a little bit like a Portuguese roll.
Portuguese roll, yeah.
All right, last bite.
That's prosciutto di Parma, not the prosciutto Italiana. So they sell like about 5 different types of prosciutto there. The Italiana is the least expensive by far. Then they have like this one, and they have more higher end. I definitely feel that this is the best one for the price.
Out of all the sandwiches that I've made, the best one is prosciutto, spice sopressata, this bread, vinegar peppers, arugula, fresh mozzarella, and balsamic. That's like the best sandwich like I've made.
Okay, so
one's-
you're
and
saying it's better than
bread.
that.
Yeah. But in my opinion, like I feel like I glaze a lot of your food, but it's worthy glaze. These two, in my opinion, are 10s. Shrimp salad's a 9, I think. Just because like it's not the best deli salad, but it's definitely up there. I would say tuna salad's better.
Yeah, tuna salad's great. New York deli tuna.
Yeah.
What kind of drink would you have with these? Like, would you want like an Italian, like aranciata or
Like peach and apple.
peach snapple?
Peach snap.
Yeah.
Oh, the Brunson.
Bronson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick's got robbed last night, so
Yeah.
by the time this video goes up, hopefully they'll have one. We really appreciate you watching every week. If you like these type of videos, we're trying to like kind of take it easy this summer, which I know you're probably taking it easy on the amount of cooking you're doing. Yeah, we'll make more of these videos if you like them. Until next time, see ya.
Nixon 5.
Nixon 5, man.